What's going on, everyone? Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We are back for another great, epic episode of Just My Opinion Reviews. It is episode 10. It is the season finale. It is the showdown for Shogun, excuse me. Episode 10, like I said, titled A Dream of a Dream. In the wake of, I just think I just learned the meaning of the title of the episode as we're recording. It didn't dawn on me.
But, really?
But yeah, we're gonna talk about it. A dream of a dream. In the wake of a tragic death, Blackthorne finally considers the true nature of Toranaga's plan. Guys, if you did not know already, me and my lovely guest over here, we're going to spoil this episode up, down, left, right, in, and out as if you've already seen it. That is your warning. But since this is spoilers, feel free, spoil in the comment section below. It doesn't matter. This is a spoiler video. I notice sometimes you guys saying spoilers ahead in the comments. You don't have to do that in a full spoilers recap. So have fun. We're going to chop it up. There's so much things to talk about. But before we do, gotta talk about my guest, the lovely Kimberly Kern from Southern California. Ma'am, how are you doing over there? Let the people know.
Brandon, I just have to say, it's been a while since I've seen a series that has poured in not just throwing money at something. It's not about throwing money at something. It's about taking the time, especially with a period film, to understand the culture and bring the viewer, you and I, we're Black. We have people, I've had people in my comments that are writing and going, I'm in England, I'm in, Scotland, wherever. A show that's about a culture, especially in a period film or a period series, bringing something authentic to the viewer is a celebration of one's culture. It's a celebration of how we can all come together in the film community. This is what the film community is about. It's about learning, opening ourselves up to the story, and letting storytelling bring people together. That's what film is about. That's what television storytelling is about. And this show has accomplished so much in honor of the Japanese culture and to honor film. And I just high praise. I'm wearing red. Red is the color of celebration in Japan, and so I'm redded out everywhere. And I have a surprise for you. I got so inspired by the show that I got a tattoo.
Really? Are you serious?
No, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. It would be dope though if it was I was gonna be happy for you.
I know. I'm so it's Yabushige over here, and he's giving people side eye. And then we got Toranaga over here yelling Toranaga-sama.
Yes.
And then I got Buntaro getting shaded by Mariko and Blackthorne right here. No, just kidding. I went to a party and someone was doing airbrush tattoos, so it'll come off in a day. But
it looks amazing.
I had to do it, Brandon. I had to do it.
I'm glad you did. You got me smiling over here. Do you have any tattoos at all? I'm just curious.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't have
a
any.
big cross skull on my back.
Okay. Now I love the straight face.
No, I have a cross with a heart in it on my ankle.
Okay, cool. That's what's up. I haven't gotten it yet, but maybe someday, maybe Sunday. But
yeah,
someday,
it's not finished. I still need to get it finished. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm a big donor with the Red Cross. So shout out to anyone who donates.
I love it.
Our blood is much needed. So that's why I never finished my tattoo, because you can't donate for about a year.
Oh, wow.
And I like to donate as often as I can. So who knows when it'll get done.
I did not know that. Thank you for that information.
Yeah, sidebar.
Yeah, you good. Let me clean house a little bit, guys, just real quick. If you're interested in other content that I have, check out my Monkey Man review on my channel. Check out my Civil War review on my channel. Also, the latest episode of X-Men 97, episode 6, Storm got on. Well, it's about Storm. I don't want to spoil anything. Also, the latest episode of Super Duper number 44. You see all that on the screen. That's what we talked about as far as superhero comic book stuff. The the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare review, and also my Abigail review. I got a number of great videos for you guys to check out that I did in the past week. But now it is time for Shogun. Kimberly, I believe at the end of our episode 8 recap, you was like, Brandon, I have no idea where this show is going, how it's going to end. And our last week's episode recap for number 9, hey, I did not know things were headed in this direction. I don't know what to expect. Now we have the season finale, the conclusion. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you satisfied? Or are you disappointed? Let me know how you feel, ma'am. I am dying to know. I'm dying to know.
Oh my God. I am joyfully surprised. I am so happy for, when I say this, I'll explain. Original content. Now, mind you, obviously, this was our Shogun is based on a book that is based on real history. And then from there, in the, let's see, 40 years ago, so like in the 70s, I believe there was a TV miniseries. So when I say original content, you guys don't come at me in the comments. I understand that this is not the first time we've seen Shogun. What I mean is for our generation, our time right now, it is so refreshing to get a period series that has such what I feel like is a different take on what we've already seen. Because a lot of people said this is the next Game of Thrones, um, but I feel like there was some predictability when I watched Game of Thrones. Of course, you had
Mhm.
your little things tossed in, like, oh my gosh, oh no, that's crazy. But this film ended in the most, for those of us who have not read the book and did not watch the former miniseries, the past miniseries, it was such a delightful surprise that this was not a predictable ending.
Mhm.
The ending was nothing, nothing. And I watched it this morning, Brandon, because I wanted to be fresh coming into our review. I watched it this morning, so I literally watched it a couple hours ago. Um, Nothing predictable about this. Totally unpredictable. And I love that because usually when you're dealing with a film or a series that they're headed to war, you expect there to be this huge action set piece with
Yes.
explosions and guns, and depending on the period of time, maybe just swords and hand to hand or cannons or ships or what have you. I, I'm not going to lie, that's what I thought. It was
Right.
going to be
Right.
a knockout, drag out battle.
Right. True.
That's not what happened.
Right.
It's not what happened, and I cannot tell you how delightfully surprised I was. The popcorn movie side of me wants to be disappointed and go, "Why didn't I get my war? Ugh. Why didn't I get my battle scene?" Ugh. But honestly, it's such a more intelligent way to go to say this gentleman Toranaga is so high above what you think is going to happen. This man is such on a different level of war. We all need to take a note from, hello, especially with what's going on in the news right now. The real battles, winning the real war, the real strategic moves happen in your mind. Not with, look how big and bad I am. I'm going to bomb you and I'm going to strike you and I'm going to kill. You said it right when we were on the first review, Brandon. You said this guy's playing 3D chess.
Mhm.
I'm so delightfully
Mhm.
surprised, Brandon.
Man, I love it, Kim. I love your take on that. Oh, that was a little bit too loud. My bad. You took the words right out of my mouth because I feel the exact same way, and I love how you put it. The popcorn fan and you wanted a war because that's what I wanted. I was like, it
We're
is going to
used to
go
that.
down.
We're fresh off
Yeah,
of Marvel. We're fresh off of
right,
Marvel. We're fresh off of
right.
getting our battles, man.
Yeah, I wanted a charge. I wanted cannons flying, swords clashing, bullets going back and forth,
Yep,
blood splatters everywhere. I
yep,
was expecting the same type of ending that we got in 2004 with The Last Samurai with
yep.
Tom Cruise and the same guy, Hiroyuki Sanada. And I forgot the other main guy, Ken Watanabe.
Oh,
I was that's what I was expecting. But we didn't get that. And so towards the end of this episode, when we have 10 minutes left, and yes, I did want to see Yabushige meet his demise because he's an a-hole. I was like, how much time? Is there like another episode? Is there another episode 11 or something?
right, right.
Like where are we gonna get this battle? But when he broke it down and was like, Crimson Sky has already happened. I knew that if I would have charged Osaka's castle, that we would have been decimated. And so I sent a lady to do what an army couldn't. And I
Or
was
we
just like,
couldn't do.
wow, this is
Wow.
crazy. And we still, as far as the way it was put together, we still got a glimpse of it, showing them on the battlefield and seeing how disappointed Ashido was when he
Yep.
opened up that piece of paper and was like, "These sons of SOBs," you know what I'm saying? They done got one over on me. With Toranaga looking all bold with his chest out, with his armor on his horse. Beautiful cinematography, like just
Beautiful
ah, you
cinematography.
know,
Let's go.
loved it,
Yes.
loved it, loved it. And I mean, that was so satisfying seeing Ashido's face, just like I like.
We still got that moment,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
that was quite nice. And and this is wishful thinking right here because Toranaga was telling Yabushige on the cliff, and
Yeah.
we can come back and recap on his words later. But I lost what I was about to say. Oh no, he said that this. He said in a month's time we are going to meet on the battlefield, all these five armies. So that actually hasn't happened yet. And I know that some of us do want a season 2 of Shogun. We most likely won't get it. But if we do, it can pick up the beginning of season 2 can kind of pick up on that battle or just them confronting each other, in that body of land and, just get more dialogue from Ishido and Toranaga. And, you tricked me. You took a Lady Ochiba away from me and the heirs army and, all of that,
Yep. Yep.
So I don't know. That's wishful thinking, producers or whatever. If you're watching this, let's go ahead and green light that. You know what I'm saying? But I was so as far as the popcorn junkie in me, that is what I wanted. But the point of Toranaga is this whole season is he's trying to have a nation of without wars. He's trying to have peace. So it would have been contradictory in a way if he wasn't able to succeed in that. And he was able to. He was able to win in a sense without he lost Haramatsu and Mariko, but he was able to seize the day without blood being shed. And so that's just really brilliant and, just shines more on his character and what he
Justice,
wanted at the
man.
very end. So it was, I'm happy in that sense. It was a very mature, ending,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So, see, so I like that. Now and I'm asking you this next question based on something you possibly did not like in the episode, if anything at all. Is there anything that kind of turned you off, or you was like, why did they do that? Why did they do this?
Not really. I thought if there's one thing I can say that I felt like I needed more of and didn't get, one thing, it would have been just a little bit more insight into Lady of Chiba and her history and
Okay.
her relationship with Toranaga.
Right. Right.
I'm
Okay.
not too disappointed at the point where it's a major issue for me. Now it does, her decision sheds a little bit more light on her past friendship with Mariko. However, I felt like that was not deserved. I felt like, in terms of, I felt like, wait a minute, you didn't show us, you didn't flesh her out enough because she went from evil and well, this is gonna, with those beautiful, majestic eyes of her, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And oh, really? Well, I don't think so. To, we're going to give my friend a proper burial. And you can't have my army. Like, wait. Back it up. Back it up. Where did we get from that? You being like Erica from like All My Children. Like, where did we get from that to like this like kind-hearted, not kind-hearted so much, but like this like philanthropic act of giving, not putting her heirs army up so that he could win the whole war. Like, where did we, what? That was not deserved. I felt like there wasn't enough insight into her journey from point A to point B, if that makes
I give you
any
that.
sense.
I give
Yeah.
you that. I give you that. Okay. Okay. For myself, this is somewhat. I have a legitimate something legitimate that I really didn't like, but also a
Well,
nitpick. My nitpick is the ending of episode 9 shows Mariko blowing up. So the ninjas, the shinobi, they put the explosives on the door. But when we open up this episode, where are they? Did they blow themselves up too? Because that would be dumb. Or did the Ashido's men or people that was guarding the council, did they come and take them out? Like did they escape? What happened to all the ninjas? Like, they just wasn't there anymore.
they were just gone.
So I don't know. I mean, for us popcorn junkies that want our action, that and not even a full battle. We could have seen them being taken out. We could have seen them escape
Yeah.
or them blow themselves up. That would have been, kind of silly. But I was really wondering where the first time I saw episode 9, I was going to episode 10. I was wondering, like, okay, what happened to all the ninjas? What happened to the shinobi? They just, vanished. I don't know. What I did not like though was showing, and I legitimately didn't like this, is them showing Blackthorne older, like as an old man rotting in bed. Now that may have to do with a dream within a dream or something,
Yeah, it was
but
very Inception, wasn't it?
yeah,
Very like a scene from Inception for sure. Like
it
Ken Watanabe, like, yeah, when he was old. That's what
it
it totally reminded me of.
towards the end of the episode where he was trying to take his life, and Toranaga stopped him, and that
Yeah.
was kind of funny to me, and I'll tell you why later. That I was like, well, he's not going to do it because we know that he's an old man with his grandchildren. So just like, okay, I know he's not going to hurt himself. So
Yeah.
I just didn't, and it just kind of took away stakes for me because you know up until episode 6 and 7 and beyond, we were saying like, wait a minute, everybody may not make it out of this season alive. We lost Haramatsu in 8. We lost Mariko in 9. We lost Nagakato in episode 7.
Yeah, that's right.
Will Blackthorne make it out of this alive? Well, we know he makes it out because we saw him in the opening scene as an old man. So
That is yeah. I see what you're saying
I
now.
didn't. It just took away the stakes for me as far as who's going to live and die. I mean, we wanted Yabushige to die. And let's talk about it. So that's just one of my complaints. But let's talk
I
about Yabushige. He done lost his mind, Kimberly. Where you where
He's
you at?
like,
Where you at?
catfish, catfish. I got to get my catfish. Catfish, somebody. Catfish. I was like, I love it too, but like, calm down. Like, where the catfish at? Causing earthquakes and whatnot. Where'd they go?
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa, dude. Like, what? What? And y'all, and the look that Ishido gave him was like, bro,
bruh.
like, bro, calm down. This is embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. Stop.
Yes,
Okay, I'm
yes.
gonna slow. He kind of did that slow,
Yeah.
like, I don't see you acting crazy. I'm gonna go over
You
here.
are silly.
It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
that
He's like,
got me.
your seat on the council is good, but go take a nap. You
Yeah,
doing the most,
yeah. And ask me why. And like I mentioned this last week, like one of the viewers was like, Kim, like, you go back and forth. Like you hate Yabushige, you like him. Like, what's the deal? You're gonna be even more confused because I'm gonna tell you right now, why did I have so much compassion for him?
Yeah. He's
I don't
funny. He's
It's
funny.
funny. He's
Yeah.
charismatic.
Yeah.
Just because I don't like the things he does doesn't mean I don't think he's charismatic.
True.
Ted Bundy
True.
was charismatic.
Mhm.
He brings sometimes he's the comic relief
Yeah.
with his shenanigans.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just funny how he's so team me. Like there's no I in team, but there's a me. Like if there is no I in team, but there's a me was a person, it would be
Yeah.
Yabushige.
Yeah.
um, I I had so much compassion for him. I don't know why. It's like it's almost like somebody who spends their whole life not realizing that like, hey, people like you. You don't have to act like this.
I
Or
love that.
hey, like
Yeah.
you do have a good station in life. Like you can get a promotion without lying. Like you're good enough at your job. You do realize that, right?
Well
Or like,
said.
yeah, like that's how I feel about him. It's like, okay, I don't know his backstory. I don't know if you're riffraff that you grew up on the streets. You're like Aladdin. You had to steal, but you do know that you do work for like the emperor now. So like you could stop stealing. Like that's
Yeah.
how I feel. That's why I have compassion for him because now I feel like, dude, I get that you're a bit of an ass, but all this back and forth, all this treachery, all this, I'll do this for you, but I'll do this for you, but my life is at stake. But what if I pledge service to you instead of my life? Will you take that? Will you take that? You'll take it? Great, cool. I'm going to have these ninjas come in. Like, aren't you tired?
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah.
I wanted to say to him, aren't you tired of scheming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't you realize your own value? And this is going to sound silly, but I feel like if I could have a conversation with Yabushige, it would be about self-esteem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like self-esteem and affirmations and be like, "Just say it with me. I don't have to steal anymore. I'm good enough, and people like me. People
Sing it
like
in
me."
the
Like
sing it in
that,
the
like the
mirror. Yeah.
Stewart, like I'm from SNL, like, doggone it, people like me. That's how I felt with Yabushige. Like, stop going back and forth, dude. You're enough. You're enough.
Yeah.
Because I felt sad for him, oddly, when he was with Omi and the way he was walking towards the ledge to just get it over with. One, I didn't know he had a freaking wife. Let's talk about that. He's like, and my
True.
wife,
True.
tell her she can marry someone else. I was like, this dude has a wife?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh hell.
Yeah.
What's her freaking story? Um, but when he was walking to his death, there was such a feeling on him of, I guess we're here. Like,
Yeah.
not even like a very deep, like I give up, or not even a deep moment. His life had value. Without all the treachery, he still was somebody. He was a likable person. He was walking towards there, and I was thinking, you didn't need to do this. And he's
Right.
telling Omi, like, you can have this land, and here's my last will. And that one kid was like, I don't know what to say. I mean, have a good death, I guess. Like, that was funny. But when he was talking to Toranaga, the look in his eye, especially right before Toranaga took his head off, gosh, this actor, I want to give him his due credit. Tadanobu Asano. Dude,
Is that
hats off to
Ami?
you.
What,
No,
what, what,
Yabushige. The actor
oh,
that
okay.
plays Yabushige is Tadanobu Asano. Dude, my hat is off to you. The way you played a character who, in the same time, has everything to lose, but has the attitude of someone who has nothing to lose was really incredible. Because he looked at Toranaga and gave him this look like, you sly bastard.
Yeah.
Not a look of like, "Oh no," or "I'm so sad." He was he was playing the game to the very end. He's like, "Come on, come on. Okay, I'm gonna die. I get it. But like before I do, tell me how you did it.
Yeah.
Tell me how you like." I thought that was so interesting in terms of a look inside Yabushige's mind. But in the end, I have to say, oddly, I was sad to see him go.
I see what you mean.
I'm conflicted.
I I won't lean into it that much. It is a shame that he had to go because he had so much. I mean, he had in a Jiro, he was feared, but he still had his army and Yabushige sama, to now he's disgraceful. To where when he showed up in the Jiro, the way that Omi looked down upon him, opposed to how he looked up to him earlier in the season. That's just the complete 180 as far as respect is concerned. But yeah, he truly lost his dang mind when he was on the ship going back to Ajiro before they landed. He was just ready to throw it all away. Like, Anjin, we can get on your boat. What is the name of
Yeah.
England? Take me back to your
Teach me how
country.
to dive, teach me how to swim. And it
Yeah,
was like, and
I was
that
like,
Blackthorne
whoa.
too had that look like, yo,
Like,
bro,
bro, get it together, man. Like,
can you get it together?
yeah.
Like that was
And Blackthorne at that point in time did not know that he was responsible for Mariko's death because they got up on shore. Omi took him away with Toranaga's men, and the way that Toranaga looked down upon him, he already knew he was untrustworthy.
remember how they met? Didn't he piss on him?
Uh
Or was that Omi that pissed on him?
Omi is the one that
Okay,
pissed
yeah,
on him. But during this scene right here, I think it was where Toranaga was looking down like, hey, one of word on the street is, you led some men into my quarters over in Osaka and they saw you and you was guilt stricken. The next morning, Omi felt it was a need to tell me about it and all this. And I don't. Toranaga probably already knew Mariko was going to die with her mission,
That was
but
Crimson Sky. That was
yeah,
Crimson Sky.
not in that way. So he truly, he took accountability for it. He knew he effed up. That's why he was
But
going crazy. But go ahead.
something, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Something that caught me about just evil people, because I feel like there's so many lessons to learn from the Shogun series. And
Mm-hmm.
that moment where Yabushige realized what he did, that he killed her, then we got our answer. Did he intend to kill her or kidnap her? And it was just kidnap her. But no matter, and I hope this is like inspiration for anyone who has been wronged by someone. I think no matter how hard someone's heart looks or seems, there's something that can always get to the hardest, most evil people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his moment where he asked for forgiveness. He didn't ask her. He was talking to himself and like maybe asking her spirit, but it got to him on a level that broke him mentally.
Yeah.
Like everyone thinks, oh, your heart is rock, your heart is stone. You kill people. Remember when he killed those people in the forest that he was using the poor people on the road to like, jack them up, but then he slit their throat. And you think he's so big and bad. And it's just a good reminder that evil will never prevail. There's always something, even if you don't see it. I mean, obviously, Omi wrote a letter because somebody saw him going, forgive me, but that broke him. I think he did respect Mariko, even though
Mm-hmm.
she was just a part of the crew, a part of the gang. We all work in the same department. He had an affection for her. He didn't, I don't know that I think he loved her, but it seems like ever since she came into the fold years ago, she's part of the crew.
Yeah.
And when you realize that you did this, you just caused a part of your crew. She's a mother. She's got a child. She's a good woman. And if anything, of all you've seen of Mariko, and kudos to Anna Sawai because her job playing Mariko was incredible.
Yes.
Um, all of this, you knew she was a good woman. You know who you are, but you know who she is, and you knew she was very honorable. And look what you did. And that got to him, Brandon.
Yeah.
It made him go crazy.
It did. It did. It did. So, but it's a shame. I love your words saying that, hey, bro, you are a like person. You're get your self esteem up. You didn't have to do all of this. It was a true waste. But it is what it is. How did you feel? Now we can talk about Blackthorn a little bit more.
Mhm.
I think this episode may have been his best acting out of the whole series.
Yeah.
But also being in the old man, being an old man, I just didn't really care for that. But when he woke up, when he came to from the
Yes.
explosion at the very beginning,
Mhm.
also, he's dehydrated, discombobulated, all those words combined into one. When he woke up from, I guess, his nap, and he had the head wrap on, and he was like, "Yeah, Mariko was buried a few days ago or a few hours ago." He didn't get he was knocked out. He was in a concussion or something, resting. He didn't get to be a part of that funeral, unfortunately.
Part of me
So
thought that was a ruse. Part of me thought she was buried. Like, I thought he was gonna get back to Ito and she was gonna be there. Like, part of me
oh,
thought she
wow.
wasn't really dead.
Really, really,
I don't know. I just maybe I just wanted her not to be.
okay.
Um,
And I'm not mad. Yeah, I can dig it. I didn't think that at all. Um, but he didn't have anything to live for, Blackthorn anymore, because, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but he woke up and they came in. I think he said Kenyama signed off for you to leave and go link back up with Toranaga in a Jiro or an Ito. He's like, "Where's Yabushige sama?" He's at the harbor, getting the ship ready. And him and this engine was having the him and this engine. He is the engine. Him and Martine were having the conversation in the forest. He was being honest with them, like, you were set up to die in this forest here, but
yeah.
he found out that Mariko, negotiated a deal with the church, and that's why I'm escorting you here now. And he just didn't care. He had truly given up at that point in time. And then he saw that his ship was blown up or sunk, and so he was out of there. His acting was really great when he went back to the quarters and he was sitting on the patio or the porch, I guess. And Fuji came and sat right next to him. His expression and the way he reacted, because he was just like staring off into space, kind of in like La La Land. He was like, "Oh, Fuji-sama." He was so relieved, like, you are somebody that I recognize, that's been kind of rock with me, my consort. He was so happy to see her. And that's why he was like, "You look strong and healthy." His Japanese has he's been there a number of months, so he can speak the language. And I love that scene. That was another favorite scene of mine, their exchange, which also ties into the end where they're at the boat, which was beautiful. But that was just like the last thing he was able to hold on to. You know, I thought it was wonderful the way that they started off. Fuji was like, "I want to kill myself. I don't want to be this dude's consort for a year. I'll give you 6 months, Toranaga. Let me be a nun. I'll give you 6 months." But here at the end, they're breathing in the same air, smiling at each other. It's
Yeah.
nothing sexual or anything like that. It's just that, I'm so happy to see you. They both lost a lot. They both lost Mariko. She lost her baby and her husband. Beautiful moment. How did you feel? I know that was a lot, but Blackthorn came through. He
Yeah.
truly turned over a new leaf. But yeah, but how did you feel about Blackthorn?
I never thought he was a pirate in the sense of what pirates would do. I never thought he was a rapist. Pirates would like go in and rape women. Like,
Yeah.
like I thought he was a opportunist for sure. He wanted to start something or finish something with the Portuguese. So I do think in terms of whatever he did that was in that journal was against the Portuguese, whether he was killing them or what have you. But he at his heart, he was a opportunist from England. He wasn't even a pirate. He was a pilot. So he knows a lot about the ship, knows how to get to and from and weather the storms. But I never thought he had hatred in his heart. He did tell Toranaga, um, I was using you. Don't you get it? I was using you. I'm the enemy. However, it wasn't out of hate. It was out of I want to win against the Portuguese.
Hmm.
I have this map. I know something about them that you guys don't know. Oh, I come to this place and I find out, the Portuguese, I know the Portuguese are here. I'm gonna, he had his own plan, yes, but I don't think it was evil. I don't think it was evil at all. And honestly, I really thought it was beautiful the way he and oh God, what's her name? They had this moment where he was like, "This is my consort, but she's turned into my friend." He had every right to sleep with her because, in terms of what a consort was, he had the right to sleep with her. However, he didn't. He never violated her. He didn't beat her. If anything, he stood up for her. I thought their relationship was really, really beautiful. And something I thought was incredible was when they went out on the boat. They went out on that boat, and he was like, "Okay, you have your plan. You're gonna take your ashes of your baby and your husband, and you're gonna go and you're gonna be a nun. That's how you're gonna end things." But he was kind of like, "Let me introduce to you a way of mourning that I see here in this land. You guys don't mourn like this, but we're friends now. So let me share with you a way that we mourn in England that really gives some finality to your grieving." And
Yeah.
with his limited Japanese,
Yes.
and through showing her, he kind of showed her, "Hey, your baby and your husband, you're my friend. I want to help you. Let me show you. I think by spreading their ashes, that might give you more completion rather than carrying around the urn," which people still do these days. I mean, people have their ashes of their loved ones in their home, what have you. Some people like to go out into the ocean, but it seems like, because again, we're learning about each other's culture in Japan. I don't know, I may be wrong, but it seemed like that was something totally new to her. Like, oh, ashes, we
Right, right, right.
spread them, you know. But then when through their limited communication, which I also think is a beautiful thing when people can't clearly communicate but somehow get it.
Yes.
She was, I think that's the most beautiful thing about us all being different, black, white, Asian, whatever you are. There are some things, death, mourning, life, love, that good food, that we can all get on the same page with, you know?
Yeah.
And he shared something so deep. To share a way to grieve is so beautiful. And
Hmm.
she was for it. She's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
in the water, together,
Yeah.
forever? Okay." And I thought, and after she did it, she had this look on her face of like, "This feels good. I like this. Thank you."
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so beautiful. And this is what I love about the fact that this isn't a white savior movie. So if anyone's saying that, like, cut it out. This is about all of us and how we're all so different, but there's a few things that we're all very much the same. And if we can all get on that plane, we can do this. We can love each other. We can make it. And to me, in the whole series, there were so many beautiful moments, but that moment on the boat was just, it really showed Blackthorn's heart.
Yeah.
He has that, and he's always had that in him. He's
Yeah.
an Englishman trying to do something for England. He didn't go out to seek to rape and pillage. That's not who he is. That's never who he was. Um, but I actually really like Blackthorn, and I love that he passed the test that Toranaga was testing him. And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I thought it was crazy what Toranaga did to him. But all in all, Blackthorn, I really love that he had a nice long life because he could share these stories with people. I don't know if he ever went. I don't think in the real history he never went back to England. But I was wondering where these little white kids came from. So I was wondering, like, because I was looking at the kids and I was looking at them to see if they had any Asian features, because I'm like,
Okay.
in
Okay.
the story, in the book, he takes on a Japanese wife, but these kids looked very 100% English, so I was kind of
Hmm.
confused.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I don't know. He had kids before, so I don't know if his son and daughter ended up coming to Japan eventually. I don't know, but those kids didn't look mixed. But I don't know.
I'm
But
go. I'm. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Keep
no,
going.
no, go for it. No, I was just gonna say,
Uh,
I like he had a long life, but I thought his grandkids would have looked Asian to kind of finish telling the story that he stayed in Japan, he married an Asian woman. So I was a little thrown off that those kids just looked like little English folks.
All right, all good, all good. I am with you. I am with you for the most part. I'm a bit conflicted. First of all, on your last point about the kids or the real story, he stayed in Japan. On one, I forgot the YouTube channel, but they posted something yesterday where they had a historian talking about how accurate
Oh, the show
Shogun
was?
is,
Oh, okay,
and I
cool.
didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I think I clicked it in my watch later playlist, and so I'm gonna be checking that out pretty soon. Also, towards the end of the episode, right before Toranaga beheaded Yabushige, he said, "I
Mhm.
don't think it's in the Anjin's fate to ever leave Japan." So
Yeah,
that may be a nod to what really happened in real life.
yes.
Um, about him and Fuji, you made the great points where they don't fully understand each other, but they get the gist of it. I think that's beautiful. Just shows how we as human beings can connect on so many different levels, especially through just our energy. And I mean, you can communicate with somebody without even saying a word, but the
Yeah.
energy and body language and stuff, you can get it. So it was beautiful. I just like the fact that she trusted him to where, like, when the season started off, she didn't even want to look at him. She wanted to vomit. The reason why I say I'm conflicted is I have to be honest, and this may sound ignorant, but when we saw him in bed, I guess dying with his children, I'm assuming those are his grandchildren. I felt some type of way where I'm like, okay, he is being portrayed as the hero here. He didn't even know how to use these swords, but his grandchildren think that he done, offended off an entire group of assassins, in some war a number of decades ago. And still, while I like Blackthorne, I still cannot get out of my head that what was in those journals, if it is true, that's just kind of being, that's part of his history, that's part of his legacy, that yeah, he may have did some nice things in Japan, but he still could have did all these atrocious things in the past, that he's kind of getting like a pass or something, or a slap on the hand. I don't know, I may be looking at it the wrong way. What else was I going to say? Blackthorn. Oh yes, you brought it up. You were not jumping too far ahead, because I was going to bring this up next. um Toranaga testing him. I got a big laugh out of me. Oh, and you can no. Before we go there, help me. I didn't understand a few of these things. First, what I didn't understand is when we saw him in bed throughout the episode with his grandchildren there, he was holding the necklace with the cross on it, which was
Yeah.
Mariko's. But when he was in the boat with Fuji, it looked like he threw it in the water, because she
Yeah,
said,
I
"You are the last. I want you to be the last person to hold on to her." Or so, was it two different crosses, or I'm
I
confused there.
dude, I don't know if that was a continuity error, in film. Honestly, because that happens, like, whenever I work on movies, I do some acting, but I also am a set dresser for films. I haven't done anything since The Last Strike, but the last movie I worked on, I worked with a script supervisor, and every time they say cut, I am the person that has the tablet and I'm looking at all the pictures to make sure the orange juice is filled up exactly the where it was. That you were actually holding a bracelet, so I need to put that back in your hand. Like that's what I do when I work on set.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
there's some famous like compilations on YouTube of like continuity errors in film that, especially Tyler Perry's films,
Yeah,
that are
man,
like your wig
man.
was twisted this way
Yeah,
2
right.
seconds ago. So part of me wondered if that was actually a continuity error. If at
Okay.
one point they shot and was like, yeah, and let's have Mariko's cross. And that can happen where you shoot something one way, where you shoot that scene with the cross, and you go, let's have it without the cross. Let's shoot the same scene. And between the editors, the script supervisors, and your set dressers, there was miscommunication, and it ends up in the final
Yeah.
part.
Okay.
However, nowadays that so rarely happens. But also, there's actually continuity errors in Marvel films and stuff.
Yeah.
So I part of me as a set dresser thinks that was an error,
Okay.
but this show was so well edited. It's not a B movie. I don't think it. I don't know. That to me seems like an error because right when they were on the boat, and he had it in his hand, I was like, oh, so this is the part where he goes, I'm gonna toss it, and then goes, wait, no, I'm gonna keep it forever. Because
Hmm.
obviously it was in the first scene,
Right.
and
Right.
she was, and I thought that was beautiful how she said, I think you should be the last person to hold her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, romance department.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wee
Yeah.
wee, come
Yeah.
on in. We need to stamp this as one of the most romantic things I've heard
Right.
in a
Right.
in a series in a long time. That
Right.
was
Right.
so
Right.
romantically
It
beautiful. Not
was.
her husband, not Buntaro, not her son.
Hmm. Hmm.
You should be
Yeah.
the last
Yeah.
person to hold her. Oh, be still my heart. Um, I don't know if that was continuity or if we were to assume that somewhere along the way he got another cross, which just seems silly after
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
the boat scene. So
Right, right, right. It takes it
yeah,
away. So, I was confused. Guys, if you're watching this and you have any insight, please let us know because that is a puzzle over here to us that we're trying to figure out. And so,
yeah.
it
Please,
is
if
what it
anyone
is.
has any insight,
Yeah, yeah. Now, going forward, um, the look that Blackthorn had on his face when he got to the shore of Ajiro, when he saw
mhm,
his ship was destroyed and sinking. He was just like, I have nothing left. My man don't want to F with me no more.
yep,
I don't have a ship. Mariko's dead. Yabushige is losing his damn mind. I'm
yep,
stuck here forever. Crap. And he negotiated with Fuji to go see Toranaga.
mhm,
We found out that the fisherman was a spy this whole time and is a samurai. And
love
man,
that
their
guy.
devotion is goes deep. He said, I became a Christian. I am both. And I'm not an expert on here this, but well, Oma and what was the other council of regents name? The one with the money that wanted the engine dead. Excuse me,
Oh yeah, I
initially.
know who you're talking
I don't think samurai and Christianity mix well together, but I could be wrong. But he said I'm a Christian and I'm a samurai. But help me understand this, Kim. If Toranaga is the one, so okay, if Toranaga was the one that not shrunk, but sunk Blackthorn's ship to test the engine,
about. Mhm.
I'm assuming that whole thing was a ruse of him taking over the city and beheading people and putting heads on
Yeah,
spikes. Like, was that real or not?
man,
Because
told.
they made us think that Toranaga was really upset that they was trying to find the bandits that came in under the cover of night and created some effery and sunk the ship. But if it was really Toranaga's plan, like what was this, like the Truman Show and everybody was in on it? That's a hell of a production. I, I'm
Bro.
I'm being silly but serious.
No,
I don't
no,
I don't get
100%.
that. I don't get that at all. I'm lost.
I'm right
So,
there with you. Here's the thing about Toranaga. Man, you play too damn much. You play too much.
yeah,
He's like the group of friends that like to prank each other, and it's like let's put a little crackling firecracker in his shoe. And it's like, okay, man, he's the one that's like, let's duct tape a firecracker to his foot and blow
yeah.
it up. Yeah, yeah, that's it. It's like, yeah,
You're
bro.
so
What?
right.
What?
Stop it. It's too
That's
much.
who he is. He plays too damn
Yeah,
much. He
yeah.
goes too far.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
um.
You're hilarious.
I have weird analogies. This is how I my
You're hitting
brain
it out the park right now.
runs my
So you're
brain.
great. You're great. Keep going.
But he plays too damn much. Here's the thing with
Yeah.
Tornado. It's either A or B. I think he is so devoted. He is so freaking devoted to becoming Shogun. We often forget another title for Toranaga is a warlord.
Okay.
Because we think of warlord, we think someone who keeps the people like a terrible landlord, someone who keeps the people poor and has all these slaves. And it's like I think he's a sensible man. Like even the way he still jokes with his wife. He's like, "Did you read this letter?" And she's like, "How me read a letter? No." Like they still have this cute
Yeah.
husband wife
Yeah.
who've been together for
Right.
30 years, playfulness
Mhm.
with them. I think that's so
Mhm.
cute. Like he still has a heart. Either A, yeah, he cut those people's heads off because he's like, this is a ruse, but when I do things, I do them 100%.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
yes,
That's crazy.
beat the people, don't kick them too hard, but make sure you black their eye. Either
Yeah.
he did that or he like dug up people that died of the flu
Right, right,
and was
right.
like, oh, they're dead. Cut their head off and put it on a stake and make it look like I'm
Yeah,
like
man.
really bad and
Yeah.
like I did it. So part of me thinks he's kind enough to say, take all the people who have died in the last few days, dig them up, cut their heads off, and put it on a stake. But he's also serious enough to go, who are the worst people in this village?
Man, that's
I'm gonna
crazy.
need their head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need their
Yeah.
head for a thing I'm gonna do for a thing. I
I
gotta do a
wouldn't put it
thing.
past them. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yes,
You know
so
what
it's
I'm
either
saying?
A or B with him.
Yeah.
Shoot. So he's he's
Yeah.
he's that way. He's him. Like as my nephew says, he's him. He
Yeah.
as these kids out here, he's him. He will do some stuff like that. I thought it was really
Crazy.
messy though, how when Blackthorne found out, he was like, again, it's like the Brandon, it's like the callback to the bird with the miscommunication. It's not just Toranaga, it's the people and their way. We have to
Mhm.
remember, like we said last recap, we can't come in with our American views and our American history and go, "Oh, this is barbaric." Well, in some countries, the fact that, you let your kids have recess is barbaric. In some countries, the fact that you even have a conversation with your wife about finances is barbaric. So, you have to remember our ways are not the way. So when Toranaga, that callback, when he was like, "Oh, you're gonna love this dish that I make in England." I mean, like, we gotta hang it up. Gonna get a few maggots. It's gonna stink. But trust me, after that process, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be like a really nice beef jerky. Like he wanted to make something nasty, and he jokingly said, "Don't now. If any of you touch it, I'll kill you." Ha
Right.
ha ha.
Right.
All right, what's next? And everybody took that as, you hear that, guys? He will kill us. If anyone touches it, you will die. And then somebody was like, I can't take it. Take the bird down.
Right.
And they killed the gardener. We
Yeah.
have to
Horrible.
remember it's not just Toranaga, it's we have to open our minds to the Japanese culture of that time in terms of honor and your word. Your word is your bond. In terms of what you will accept as honorable. Like Marika was ready to kill herself when she's like, I can't do what my boss told me to do. And I'm damn sure not going to go back and be like, I couldn't do it. She's like, the most honorable thing is for me to kill myself. Like, we have to remember that's just that culture. That's how they did things. So it kind of isn't crazy to say that Toranaga went that far to prove a point because it seems to be that in this culture, they do that. They
Yeah.
go really far, what we consider far, to prove a point. And that's why Anshin, again, he wasn't American, but with his English ways, was saying, you would go as far as to blow up my ship. Or I think he didn't know Toranaga did. He was just like, Toranaga was trying to be like, no, man, I care about you so much. I'm not going to let anyone get away with this. I'm going to kill them.
Yeah.
He was like, wait a minute. You would go so far as to hurt your own people. You know what? Forget it. The ship means nothing to me. I don't care anymore. And he's like, no, no, no. I'm going to kill whoever I find, and
Yeah.
these people are going to suffer. That's his English ways coming out, calling Japan, your ways are barbaric. This is a culture clash. So I was torn in that way.
I feel you. I'm hoping that he dug up some bodies.
God, I
You
hope so,
know,
but it's
I
very
hope so.
possible that he was like,
Yeah.
you, time to serve your country.
Right.
I'm going to need your head. You could just
Oh my God.
I could use
Yeah,
that
that's I
part
hope
of
that
your
I hope that
body
was that.
to
Yeah.
be a useful part to my war, you
Yeah.
know?
Your eyes got big. Yeah, I'm hoping not. I did get a laugh out of Blackthorne, the engine. He tried to take his life. Toranaga wasn't having that. You're not one of us, man. This ain't your customs, your culture. No.
Right?
Now that you're done, pull out your ship, rebuild it, build me a fleet. That death would have meant nothing to him. And so he wanted to make sure he knew that as well. Like, you cool, but you ain't that cool. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was funny to me. But yeah, Blackthorn, TK, I'm the enemy. I tried to. Well, he knew that a long time ago. You didn't have to tell him that. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. He knew that from day one what your agenda was, what your goal was.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's interesting. Um, Let me see. I I want to talk about the women. So you brought this up a second ago. Toranaga and his wives. He talked about him having another son. Thank you. You protected my children, and he got the letter from Lady Ochiba. Hey, and did you read? And she was like, "What a suggestion." Did you know at that point in time what it was? Could you guess, or you had no? I didn't either. I'm not trying to front or nothing.
I know, I guessed many things. I part of my guess was one thing that I thought is Lady Ochiba was like, I am so sick of these men and this regents and their back and forth. Me and my son, I just want us to be safe. They're gonna go to war. I want to make a deal with him that like
Mhm.
just keep me out of it. Whatever happens, me in the air, keep us out of it.
Yeah.
I actually was going to marry Ishido, but you know what? Whatever happens between you guys, I remain the mother of the heir. I
Yeah.
thought that's what she was going to say.
Gotcha.
Um, I thought that she, in order to get power, because of what Mariko did, and because of the position that Mariko put her leader Toranaga in by all of her attempts to sacrifice, her bravery for going to that wall and trying to get away to prove the point of we are being held captive, y'all. Like, um, she Mariko did such an amazing job executing whatever Crimson Sky was meant to be
Mhm.
that Mariko, I thought another possibility is that she was sending a letter to Toranaga going, okay, I see you're going to war, and Mariko has put us in a position where I need to pledge my allegiance to you. So when you go to war, and I think you'll win, I just want to make sure you know that I'm supporting you. Like I knew she was conceding in some way, but it turns out I think she remembered her childhood friendship and it's like sometimes when you know the truth, like it's sometimes this is an odd example, and forgive me if it doesn't fit you guys, but I have weird analogies. It's like when I watch Dateline a lot, right? And there was a Dateline where like these two families were friends, and the one dad killed the other dad because they had beef or something. So the kids were like, "We're gonna hate each other," and they hated each
Mhm.
other. But then
Yeah.
at some point you realize at the end of the day, your dad and my dad had their own separate situation that had nothing to do with us. And you were 8 when it happened. So at the end of the day, why do I hate you? I think it was like that. I think Lady Ochiba was saying, your father killed my father, but at the end of the day, it's not like you convinced him. At the end of the day, we were like sisters. You were my best friend. And our
Mhm.
fathers, they did great things, they did not so great things. They did honorable things, they did shady things, and that was between them. Let me remember who you and I were. You and I were sisters. And you did the bravest thing I've ever freaking seen in my life, going to that gate. I can't even. Like, you know what? I want to make sure you have an honorable burial. And I see what you're trying to do. I didn't have the courage to do it. So I'm at least going to have the bravery to concede to Toranaga that I can help, and I can help by holding my army. And let's just squash this. This is what I want to do. I think that's what she did
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, and I think the conversation that she had with her son, the heir, helped as well, because it was going over the poem. Yeah, he said,
Flowers
"What
are
does
flowers because they fall.
what does a leafless branch mean and all that?" And he was like, "Who wrote that?" And he's like, "Oh, the woman that was just buried," talking about Mariko. And
Yeah.
again, going back to Toranaga, he had to have known Ochiba was going to do that. Like he was
I don't.
really
Well,
hoping.
yeah, I guess so. I'm often surprised at what Tora. I shouldn't be because he's proved himself this whole time to be playing 3D chess. And like one of the things that I love that he said, Yabushige was who is the most envious guy who he just wants to. He's so envious, and he goes, "How's it feel? How's it feel to command the wind?" And he's like,
Mm,
"I don't
play it.
command the wind. I study the wind."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that right there, I if I'm gonna get a tattoo of anything, I should lie to you. I should have lied to you and told you it says, "I don't command the wind, I study the wind."
Oh,
Be be
bars.
I got bars for days. Because honestly, God, I might put that somewhere. That is so beautiful, and
Please do.
just to step outside real quick of what's happening in our world right now, not just with, like, different countries, but, like, when we look online and we see the situations with the Karens, and we see people who immediately when you get upset, you pull out your phone and, oh yeah," or stuff we're doing on the road with one another. I almost got hit yesterday because the guy behind him must have pissed him off, and he was doing that thing where every time the guy tried to go around, he moved his car,
Mhm.
and he was like, "I'm just not gonna let you go." And I'm like, "I almost got hurt because you stupid." All of us need to remember or take a note from the page of Toranaga that a real warrior starts the battle up here. A real
Mhm.
warrior studies the wind, doesn't
Mhm.
try to be the wind. We're over here talking about, I will huff and I will puff and I will blow your house down. And it's like, why don't you just study how that's done, first of all,
Yeah.
before you get all high and mighty? And that is the beauty of Toranaga. That is the beauty of how Hiroyuki Sanada played him. Because Hiroyuki Sanada, the way he played him, he knew so much of what was going to happen, and he had to play things like he was omnipotent and clueless at the same time. And Hiroyuki Sanada did an
Yeah.
amazing job playing a leader
Mhm.
who is actually quite omnipotent, but needs to seem to everyone else like he's experiencing everything in real time when he's actually 5 days ahead of
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And to him, I
True.
say kudos to him. Award season time. I know this show is far from awards, but don't you dare let the Emmys come around and let me not hear the name Shogun.
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be a hell of a sin right there. And let me ask you, do you have an ounce of respect for Ishido, especially with this episode? The reason why I ask is, even though I don't like the guy, I do commend him for at the beginning of the episode, he still tried to do something lawful. Like, well, hey, I think it was Kenyama was like, well, if we go to war, will we have the support of the heir's army? And it was like, yes, since we're united, if we have his banner behind us, it will be lawful. Toranaga will not, and I kind of respected that in a sense, or am I tripping? You see where I'm coming from? The look on your face looks like no, absolutely not. But I'm just kind of curious. I mean, at least he was trying to do something lawful in the end. So do you have, I mean, yes, he did hold women hostages and, all that stuff. I'm just asking, do you have any respect for Ishida at all or no? I'm going to take that as a no. Okay. We can move on. Okay. Okay. Almost towards the
Do
end.
you see my face?
I do see your face. Thank you for that. Thank you for
Need
that.
I say more? I'm
Wow.
gonna do something he's not doing anything lawful. I wanna make it seem like I'm following the law, and the law does say we need banners, and, ours is lawful. Man, get here.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair
Man,
enough.
please.
Fair enough.
That's all I gotta say about him.
Yabushige called Toranaga a hypocrite. Like, hey man, you're not better than none of us. We ever, you trying to pretend like you are holier than thou, but you trying to be Shogun too. Excuse me. Sorry. Does Yabushige have a point about Toranaga? Was he scheming the entire time? Trying to obtain power, from the shadows. Yes, I'm going to start with Edo for the rise of my power. It will be a country with no wars. Does Yabushige have a point, or was he just bitter because he was about to get his head chopped off?
I think he has a complete valid point, and I think he's bitter. I think if you look at it, I think it's both, Brandon. I think you're right on
Okay.
both because think of it like this. In terms of my opinion, this is just my opinion. Um, Yabushige wanted to be Toranaga.
Hmm.
Toranaga is a master trickster. He is a master manipulator because he manipulates everyone around him. But he does it in such a way he still seems honorable. But he's so manipulative, like we just talked about. He's got this whole town getting punched and kicked and heads on stakes, and we don't know where they came from. Like these are little lowly farmers that are getting punched in the face,
Yeah.
but it's all about your plan. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's a damn hypocrite. I think at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, Yabushige, if anything, he could be disappointed in is that he didn't do it better or as good as Toranaga because
Oh yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
reason he called him a hypocrite is because, and I'm so glad you bring this up, Brandon, and I'm realizing this in real time. If you think about it, Toranaga's ways and Yabushige's ways are really not that different at all.
Really, really.
At all. Now you know what? Now that you say it, I'm realizing they're not. It's the difference between a high class and low class.
Okay.
I'm playing chess in a high class way. Yabushige was playing messy ass chess. He was playing ridiculous chess with pieces that usually are on the board, like or ever on the board. Yabushige was making up his own game of chess. I'll put it like that. He's like, in my game, this one can make circles and then take your guy. Like, what? No. Um, at the end of the day, Toranaga and Yabushige are not that different. It's a difference of wisdom and class, and just doing it with brilliance, almost to the point. Okay, this is a weird analogy. Sometimes I think of like movies or stuff where like an FBI agent like sees how somebody's plot came together to steal something, and they're like, "Well, I'll be damned." Almost as if to say, "I can't help but to respect the way this thief did that." That was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Police officers do that. They'll sometimes you have your Yabushiges, which are like, really, you walked into Costco and you reached in a woman's purse and stole her wallet. Get your dumbass in this paddy
Yeah.
wagon. And
Right.
then
Right.
sometimes
Right.
you come across somebody who is so brilliant in the way they stole or manipulated that you can't help but to go.
Yeah. This is
And
true.
I think that's the difference between Yabushige and Toranaga.
Mhm.
They're so similar. They're so
Yeah.
similar.
I'm
I
thinking
see it
about
now,
Ocean's 11 now too,
right?
because that was a beautiful display of stealing. And it was funny. It's kind of like Toranaga felt some type of way, like you figure me out, you call me out because he put the sword up to him, like no,
Yes,
no more talk. Okay, why tell the future
yes,
to a dead
dude,
man? You know what I'm saying? Like shut up. I don't want nobody else to hear what you said.
100%,
Um,
bro.
but it was funny. Yabushige took the sword out, stabbed himself, started
Oh
in
my
the belly,
god.
and he just turned and looked at Toranaga like, "Man, will you hurry up and get this over with?" And he chopped his head off.
Right?
Last thing, I wasn't expecting Buntaro to show up and aid the Blackthorn. That was cool.
That
He's
was
sad too
amazing.
because his wife is gone, and so they're like, we need to put this behind us. And yeah, Blackthorn is gonna be posted up in Japan for a while, building a fleet for Toranaga. We see him standing on the rocks, looking out at the mountain and the waters. Shogun. The score came in and it was beautiful. Kimberly, final thoughts. Final thoughts. What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I want to give a round of applause. I'll read their names to Frederick Toye, Jonathan Van Tolken, Charlotte Brenstrom, and Takashi Fukunaga. Um, as well as I just want to name all the directors here because
Good job.
um, uh, Hiromi Kamata, Emmanuel Osei Kufor. Um, Obviously, different episodes were directed by different people. I just want to name them and shout them out because there was such a cohesiveness to all 10 episodes. However, there were so many different things happening. I love how they kept the cohesiveness together. They kept the intensity and they brought it with the
Mhm.
writing. Um, Obviously, you guys, I'm not ignorant to the fact that this was a book and it was a former series, but obviously things are changed for this particular series, Shogun 2024. I love what the writers did in terms of bringing us moments where we were saying, no, they can't, he can't possibly die. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to kill that guy
Yeah.
going there, doing the thing that people say is so risky to do in a series, which is killing off main, likable, lovable characters, killing off characters that people want to see in a season two. Producers hate this kind of stuff because they want to milk things for all it's worth. I don't care if history says they died here. Let's make him live. I thought this series was brave because it was brave to say, I know Anna Sawai is going to take your breath away in her role as Mariko, but we are going to let her die. We are going to allow her to be killed off. It was brave to go against to of what I imagine studios do, which is let's milk this for all it's worth. Let's keep the key players alive. I don't care what the book says. Let's do what we want to do to milk the money. Because I got to tell you, I would have loved to see two more seasons with Mariko and Blackthorne and what happened and how their relationship went and the triangle with Buntaro. I would have loved to see more Mariko. In my opinion, Anna Sawai played a hero. Mariko is the hero of this story because not only was she thinking just about God and country the whole time, she is an example of what it means to be for God and country. And we all need to take some. We're also critical of where we're from because of what certain politicians do or certain things. Look, you want to see some change, you be the change. But where you're from is where you're from. And at the end of the day, it's about God and country. Or at least this country girl thinks that's how I feel in my heart. And Mariko, she had that through and freaking through. And she did have two masters and she played them and she was honorable, the best that she could have been. But in the end, she just wanted to be with her father and her mother and her
Yeah.
siblings that all got murdered. I thought it was beautifully written. She is the hero of the series, and also reminding that there's stuff she did where she was like, I'm going to die. Either way, I'm going to die. I plan Crimson Sky, whatever all those Crimson Sky plans were. I think she knew she wasn't coming home, and she made deals. She made a deal for Blackthorn's life. She made a deal for him to get out. She thought beyond the grave. She is the hero of the Shogun series. Anna Sawai, she's also in Monarch on Apple TV with
Mhm.
Kurt
Mhm.
Russell. I thought she did a great job there, but here she was poised and powerful is how I would sum up her character. Poised and powerful. Um, I could break down every character, but I feel like we've done a great job. But I just want to give a shout out also to the producers, namely, obviously, Hiroyuki Sanada. For a man that has been acting since he was a kid, I think he was like a child actor back in his
I
homeland.
didn't know that.
Yeah, like I was looking at some stuff and there's like video of him acting when I think he was like 16. And he was
Wow.
like on a Japanese soap opera or something. Like this man he's like Kurt Russell, Kurt Russell was in a scene with Elvis, okay, in a Disney movie. So that tells us how long Kurt Russell's been acting. This man has been acting since he was a kid. And for him to finally get to the point where American worldwide audiences are recognizing you as the freaking man, like to be an executive producer and to lead the cast and crew for the traditions of Japanese culture to be communicated in such a clear way for us to take in this story, to not just take in the story itself of Toranaga and Blackthorne and Ito and Osaka, but to take in the story of the Japanese people and what your people about are all about, with the garments, the elegance, the power, the politics. I think he's done, I would say, good man. You did right for your culture, and I
Hmm.
congratulate him for that. He deserves. If I was at the premiere for this, and no one else was giving a standing ovation, I would have been that one lady that was like, "Come on, guys!" You know. Kudos to him for just as executive producer. I hope he gets nominated. For acting wise, Cosmo Jarvis did a wonderful job making us not understand, is Blackthorne bad? Is he good? I think I love him. you know, that's the journey he took me on, and AKA, like, he is the most romantic guy in the 1600s. Like, he could get it. Like, he did a really amazing job of being romantic and an opportunist. And so Cosmo Jarvis, who I think I said in the beginning, he looks so much like Tom Hardy when the opening scene started. I want to see more from this guy. I want to see more from him and more films and other series. I haven't seen too much of this gentleman's work, but kudos to you, man. And also his Japanese, for someone who was portraying someone that was learning Japanese. Great job. It's acting's not easy. Everyone's like, acting's so easy. No, it's not. Acting is hard. Trust me. I've killed great. I've booked stuff. I've had a decent time as an actor. Not anything crazy at all, but it's hard. It's not super easy. And Cosmo Jarvis, dude, good on you. You did a fantastic job. This series, my last final thought, Brandon, is I'm so glad. I'm actually so glad we didn't get a big battle. I'm so glad it ended with mental battle, mental strategy. It ended with how to manipulate people, but also kind of stay honorable. I love that it kept me up here rather than, yeah, yeah, hit them, cut his head off. Da, da, da. I mean, we got a lot of that, but I'm joyfully satisfied in my unsatisfaction of certain things. And that's what I have to say about Shogun. This whole team, I would love to see more from them. Hiroyuki Sanada, please get back in the executive producer seat and bring us more. But overall, 10 out of 10, 5 stars, round of applause, standing ovation for Shogun. Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, yeah. I love it, ma'am. I love it. I'm just gonna go ahead and echo pretty much everything you said. I did not agree. I mean, I do not disagree with anything, and so right on to you. But this is the most. This is some of the most entertaining pieces of television I've ever seen in my entire life. If I
Yes.
want to, I would really have to sit down and think about the absolute best. I don't want to exaggerate here, but it's definitely up there. Definitely top 10, maybe even top five. I mean, across the board, the acting was phenomenal. The story was fantastic. It was unpredictable. The action and lack of action was thrilling, was fulfilling. The cinematography was dope as hell. The costume design, my goodness gracious, they just put so much energy into it as well. And then you can't, and none of that matters unless you have great music and a great score as well. So to the music department, Nick Chuba, Atticus Ross, and Leopold Ross. I mean, I would jam this in the car, going to sleep, anywhere. It was just amazing casting. Just the set, the sets were incredible. You talked about it yourself early on when we was recapping just their mannerisms, their feet work, their
The
placement.
detail.
Yeah, them opening and closing doors and panels, and just
Yes.
I mean, this the whole life. I mean, it's truly remarkable. I mean, they put so much money into it, and not a penny was wasted. As far as the rating is concerned, I got to give it at least a 9.5 out of 10. I'll give it a 9.75. I don't
There
want
you
to give
go.
it a perfect 10, because I have my nitpicks here and there. Like I mentioned in this episode, showing Blackthorne, growing up in the future, that kind of took away some stakes. And I still wanted my battle, but the way it was handled it was perfection. So, or near perfection. So 9.75 out of 10. Kimberly gives it a 10 out of 10, and everybody involved with this should be very, very proud of themselves. You mean you are part of the credits, and that will be remembered from now until the ends of time.
And
Well,
Brandon, I also want to just thank the viewers that have been watching on both your channel and mine, because some people have been getting in there that have read the books
mhm.
and dropping knowledge. I know I have someone on my channel that has gone to Japan many times, and gave me some background about, like, hey, I heard you guys mention this. Actually, this is the history of that, and this is that. Like, and in the comment section, I've been seeing wonderful community of people sharing information that they have about history, about the books, about being Japanese, about Japanese culture. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for how beautiful you've been to one another in the comments and open to learning about Japanese culture. I think it's wonderful to be proud about one's own culture, but we've got to learn to love and open ourselves up to learning and appreciating and applauding other people's cultures and congratulating them. And I just want to say thank you to the viewers for taking this ride. And Brandon, thank you so much for letting me do this with you. I've never
Oh, yeah.
reviewed a series before. This is my first time doing episode by episode reviews. So thank you for having me. Thank you
Of
so much
course.
for having me.
Thank you for coming to join me as well. I really do appreciate it. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to spend a little more than an hour with me each week. So I am forever grateful. I had so much fun. You're hilarious. You're professional. You're everything great. So hopefully we can do this again. And hopefully I did a good job and didn't push any buttons. And I would love to have you back in any way. So thank you, ma'am. I am forever grateful for thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to wrap it up for our Shogun recaps, episode 10 titled A Dream of a Dream. Also, guys, check out my latest super duper episode where I talk nothing but superhero comic book news, my Abigail review, my Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare review, X-Men 97 episode 6, Civil War, and also Monkey Man. Guys, whether you're watching on my channel or Kimberly's channel, subscribe. This is what Kimberly's channel looks like right here. Ma'am, why don't you tell us about that podcast you got coming up?
Yes, absolutely. You guys, I have a podcast coming called The Film That Made Me dot dot dot. I want to talk to you, your uncle, your dad, your friend. I want to talk to people who have been inspired by a film to make changes in their life. Maybe you changed your major in college because you saw Good Will Hunting. Maybe you saw Apollo 13 and took your kid to space camp. Maybe you reconnected with a parent because you saw the movie The Father, with Anthony Hopkins. Um, I whatever it is, I want to know how movies are affecting our community, those of us who love storytelling. So that's what my new podcast is about. It'll be coming fall of 2024, and I will be filming this summer. So please send your submissions, contact me, DM me, reach out. I'd love to talk to you.
All right, guys, there you go. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery, that's Kimberly, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.
Game over!